What's going on, everybody? We're looking at the dollar index here. We're going to do a quick review and just kind of get a feel for where I believe price is going next. What I like to do with any chart when I'm looking at it for the first time is I just try to look at the higher time frame, so the monthly, just to kind of get a feel for what's going on. So let's see. Really, what we've had is these two things, right? This fair value gap over here on the monthly has basically acted as, has been the level where price has tapped a couple times and pushed lower, right? On the other hand, we've had this bullish fair value gap that's been holding price up. So we're currently just trading between these two levels right now. And I think on a fundamental side, you could maybe attribute this to the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty about when we're going to get rate cuts. And so price is kind of just on the higher time frame trading sideways until we definitively know what's really gonna happen, on a fundamental basis, right? But yeah, so because of this, so I'm not gonna mark it like this, but we've got these two fair value gaps, and so because of this, we basically can say that we have a range, right? So I'm just gonna go to the weekly, and I think it's a little more clear on the weekly because it looks really choppy on that monthly. But really, we've got a weekly range where price is kind of trading. Again, this is slightly arbitrary about where you want to draw range highs and range lows. You could kind of draw it as a zone. This is how I'm going to draw it for now. So really, we've got this 106 level coming in as range highs, 100 coming in range lows. And we're just kind of rotating between the highs and the lows. Back in late April, we basically hit the range highs. We got rejected, and now it seems like we're rotating down in the middle of the range, and then potentially going down to range low. So, you could look at this as on a weekly time frame. This is just a range, right? And we're just making a rotation back to the other end of the range. Let's see. We've got... yeah, it's kind of. We technically do have a local bearish structure over here on the weekly, but you notice that the last time we pushed lower, we didn't quite displace below this low, right? So this really was the first swing low. We did close below it, so that's our last swing low, and we've swept those lows earlier this week. And I think that was probably yesterday, because it's only Tuesday today. Yeah, but you notice that we're failing to displace below previous lows. We're not really pushing down with strength, right? So there's a little bit of weakness with regards to bears, but technically speaking, we are in a bearish structure, right? And so this right here was our bearish daily order block. That's the level that I want to see hold. In order for the bearish bias to hold, right? And so I've been saying in my newsletter and in the Telegram group that we have that this is the low that I'm looking for, the 103.9 level. This is the next level that I want to see us push below, and this is my target. Yeah. So that's how I'm looking at this from the weekly time frame. This is the level I want to see hold as resistance, and this is the next target that I'm aiming for. Okay. Yeah, and then obviously if we go below that, then this is the next swing low that I'll be looking at. So these are my two downside targets. Now, if we trade back up above these highs, then I'm looking at. See how we got these two equal highs over here? That's gonna be what I'm looking at. Yeah, so if we start closing within and even above this 105 level, that's going to be my next target. So if I go down to the daily, you'll actually see where we made these equal highs. We had a daily gap all the way back here from November 2023. You see that? So if I just do that, you look at how those align beautifully, right? So this was one of my upside targets when we were pushing higher and higher and higher. I wanted the gap to get filled. We didn't fill it. We got rejected right away, and we formed equal highs instead. So yeah, if we do get above, then that's going to be the level that I'm looking for. Now you notice that weekly order block that I highlighted. There's actually a daily order block within here too. So just one right here. Price pushed up late last week. We got rejected, and now we're pushing lower, right? And this was the low that we most recently swept. That was actually today to start the day, before kind of pushing back up a little higher. But yeah, so what I want now is, since we've displaced below these lows, I mean, it was a pretty strong move yesterday. I want to see this level now hold as resistance, right? And we're coming right up into it. You know, we actually just tapped it. That's going to be a daily order block. Obviously, it's going to be both of these two up close candles, but I like looking at the lower half of it. It just that's usually like for me a telltale sign. Like, okay, if we're going to react well to the lower half of a bullish order block or the upper half of a bearish order block, it's probably going to hold, right? Whereas if we go deeper into the order block, I start getting a little more doubtful. But yeah, that's what we have right now, and then it comes along with this 4-hour fair value gap over here, right? So that was fair value gap 4 hour, and we're currently getting rejected. So we pushed into it, we tapped the daily order block, and now it seems like we're kind of getting rejected. Though there's we got to be a little more patient for the confirmation. 1 hour fair value gap over here also tapped. So you see how like the smaller time frames are all within the higher time frame levels, just kind of building on that bias. Yeah, so this is what I have right now, and as a result of that, I've actually decided to go long on euro. So if we actually go to the 4 hour, this is what I was looking at this week, right? Let's see. You have this no wick candle, right? So there was no sell side offered on this candle. Usually what happens is when you have a higher time frame candle, actually price is fractal, right? So this would even happen in a 5 or 15-minute time frame. But when you have a candle that forms like this, with no wick on one side and a push to the other, that's going to be a very sensitive area when price comes back down to visit it. Now we also had this 4-hour order block over here, right? So this is actually there's a very small gap between that wick and that wick, so there is technically a fair value gap in there as well. But really, this was the level I was watching to start the week. Now, I didn't expect the week to open and immediately push into it and then push higher, right? But we got that yesterday. So we did that. We pushed higher. I think GU even took out the highs, but yeah, EU took out these highs right here. And now we're kind of retracing, just the way we saw dollar retracing into that daily order block, that 4-hour fair value gap. It's exactly right. Euro's coming down, and now with dollar hitting a key level for me where I expected to get rejected, I'm naturally looking for what's going on with euro and see if I can get some longs. So we've tapped this 4-hour order block. I actually went long a little higher. I have a long position, so I don't know how it's going to play out. I mean, if I lose, I lose, right? It is what it is. But yeah, I got in over here. So basically, this fair value gap was where I was looking at. Right, we're also, keep in mind, we're also at a discount right now, the OTE level, right? So I got in slightly before OTE, but we hit discount, and that was when I entered. So yeah, I'm looking for a reaction right now. I want to see if this can bounce along with GU. We'll see how it plays out.